And now I'm talking to John Mark McCafferty, the head of social justice and policy at St Vincent De Paul. John Mark, how's it going?
How you doing, Darren?
John Mark, we're here in the St Vincent De Paul shop in South Great George Street. Could you just tell us about your campaign that's been launched yesterday and today, please?
Yeah, well, this is one of our key charity shops in the country with a really high footfall on George's Street. But we've converted it, we've turned it on its head, and the shop front is an estate agent with a difference. The estate agent has adverts of houses that are cold and damp, houses in the private rented sector, houses that are overpriced and expensive and out of the reach of the kind of people that seek our help in the SVP. And also rooms in hotels and B&Bs that families have to stay in if they're in emergency accommodation where they've lost their tenancies. Usually they've been priced out of their rented accommodation. We also have ads for sofas, or a bed in the sofa, or a night in a sofa in a friend or family's home. So that kind of sofa surfing, precarious experience of accommodation is also reflected. And all of these scenarios are real in the sense that all of these cases, all of these examples have represent what our members see on the ground. Over the summer, we went to our members around the country, and in the rural areas, and especially in the urban areas, especially in Greater Dublin, what we found was that it was reconfirmed what we already knew, that low-income families are getting priced out of rental accommodation, can't move into private rental accommodation in the first place because of the prices, are on social housing waiting lists for many years, and many just have not been housed, and there's very little prospect of being housed in the near future. And many have tried to hold on to tenancies. Sometimes we've assisted them to and prevented homelessness in a sense by working with them, providing financial assistance, providing referral to other agencies like Focus or Threshold or statutory agencies. I guess all of the adverts that you see there, they tell real stories about real family lives and about the role of the Society of St Vincent De Paul and the volunteer members in trying to assist people negotiate the housing system, trying to assist people with managing the rents in the private rented sector, and then visiting people in hotels and B&Bs when they have found themselves homeless. So we're trying to highlight the very real humanitarian crisis that is apparent in Dublin, in Cork, and all around the country, but especially in the urban areas. And it's sparked by the private rented sector, the costs hikes, the rental hikes in the private rented sector in the last 2+ years, and its impact on people. The impact when you don't build social housing, when you build almost no units in the last 8 years, when historically very few units have been built to meet anywhere near the demand. And we have the perfect storm now. And organisations like the Society of St Vincent De Paul are at the centre of that storm, trying to make life a bit more bearable for families and for individuals who are caught up in a pricey private rental sector, in a private rental sector where many of the units are substandard. They're damp, they're cold, and they're very poor energy efficiency. We've been assisting people also with the cost of their energy over the last, especially since about 2008, 2009. And we've been spending in excess of around 10 million, on average of about 10 million every year since about 2009, purely on energy costs. And a lot of that is because people are living in cold homes, and a lot of those homes are in the rental sector. So we are using this estate agents to tell the message, tell the story about the experience of the families we assist. We're asking people to support our campaign and to sign up our petition, Hidden Homeless petition, online. You'll find it if you go on the svp.ie website. And we're asking Minister Coveney to redouble efforts in terms of social housing output. We feel that while the private rented sector has a really important role to play, that it shouldn't be the key role, that the key solution to this crisis is the provision of real social housing units, whether we buy them or build them, and taking voids and putting them back into use. But we also need a reformed private rented sector, a private rented sector which will work for everyone regardless of their income, which is of higher quality than it currently is now, with warmer homes with a higher energy efficiency standard that's affordable, and where there are enough units to meet supply. So they're the two elements of our policy asks, if you like, for this campaign.
Yeah, and there's an added reason why this campaign is on today and yesterday, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true. Yesterday was the UN Day for the Eradication of Poverty, and homelessness is arguably the most extreme form of poverty, the most extreme cause of poverty, and the most extreme consequence of poverty. And homelessness is a denial of basic human rights, and a denial of people accessing, the normal run of access to goods and services that most of us take for granted. So it's no accident that we started the campaign on the day of October 17th, which is the UN Day for the eradication of poverty.
The last time I talked to you was just before the general election in I think it was March. I talked to you in January or February. Am I right in saying that things haven't got much better, if at all, since then, as regards to the national picture in Ireland?
I guess the situation on the ground hasn't improved from a housing point of view. Rents are increasing. We still have to find out what the social housing waiting list figure is going to be, which was taken earlier this year, but the final figure has still to be made official. But we're very concerned that figure will be north of 90,000 households. Even if it isn't, you're talking about 90,000 families or individuals who are in need of social housing and are denied social housing, many of whom are in the kind of situations that I've kind of outlined. So while Budget 2017 has just been announced, and we see a slight increase in investment and a slight increase in things like the basic welfare payment, monies going to early childhood care and education, which we welcome, and money behind this Rebuilding Ireland strategy, which was launched in July, which has a lot of good stuff in it. It's going to take a while for the vast majority of those commitments in Rebuilding Ireland to really grow fruit, to be tangible, to be seen and felt in terms of units, houses, apartments, accommodation on the ground. And so therefore the rental situation will get more competitive, it will get pricier. So the situation for our families and the people that we assist on low incomes will get worse before it gets better.
Last year, just speaking briefly my personal situation, last year our old landlady told us she was selling the house, so for a couple of months I had rent uncertainty, and it's a really bad feeling. It's so overwhelming, and as it turns out, the three of us friends were able to get a new house, but it was only after 2 or 3 months of uncertainty, and it really is such an overwhelming bad feeling. I hope I don't never have to go through it again. But so just to finish up, John Mark, and something else you want to say, how can we, our listeners, support the campaign, Hidden Homeless?
Yeah, if you go on our website, there'll be a banner up which will direct you to our Hidden Homeless page. If you just Google Hidden Homeless SVP, that will bring you to our campaign page. And if you just sign up there, we're also taking we were taking signatures Monday, Tuesday here in Georgia Street. So that's the offline part of the campaign, and the online part of the campaign is on our site. So Hidden Homelessness will bring you to that. If you Google Hidden Homelessness and svp.ie, should bring you to our page. So please support the campaign. We're looking for the general public to be aware that we are a player in the housing and homelessness crisis, that we can provide solutions through the work of our volunteers, assisting people in their homes, and trying to assist people to hold on to their tenancies through financial assistance. So if people just remember that the Society of St Vincent De Paul are there when people are worried about their tenancies, and to support that campaign, and just to bear in mind the two things that we're looking for: greater social housing, and that means social housing in local communities, so people welcoming social housing build in communities across the country, and especially in Dublin, and also that we are looking for changes in the private rental sector, and we're looking for public support for that in the future.
Okay, John Mark, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.